Now let's talk about classes. So look at this piece of code. We have this person object with two members, name and walk. What if we want to create another person object that can walk? Well, let me temporarily duplicate this code and call this other object person2. Now there is a problem here. The problem is that we have duplicated the implementation of the walk method. Now this implementation is currently a single line of code, but in a real-world application, this method can be 5 to 10 lines of code or maybe more. If there is a bug in this method, then we'll have to come back and fix it in all person objects. That doesn't make sense, right? So when we have an object with at least one method, we need a blueprint to create objects of that type. And that's when we use classes. So let me show you how a class can help us solve this problem. I'm going to delete this second person object and create a class. So we start with the class keyword, give our class a name, person, and note that here I'm using Pascal naming convention. So the first letter of every word should be uppercase. Now, as another example, if we wanted to call this class cool person, we would have to name it like this. So note that C and P here are capital, okay? So here's our class. Then we add a code block. Now we need to move our walk method inside our person class. So I've selected this code. I'm holding down Alt and then press the down arrow. So we can move it like this. Easy, right? Finally, we need to add another method here. That method is a special method that is called constructor. So just like the walk method, constructor is a method, but the name is reserved. It's a special keyword. That's why, similar to the class keyword, it is orange. Okay? Now this constructor can take parameters. So we can pass the name from the outside and initialize it here. How? Well, we use this. In this case, this always returns a reference to the current object. So we set the name property on that object to this name argument that we receive from the outside. Now we have a blueprint for creating person objects. So let's delete this code on the top. To create a person object, we can do something like this. So person, we set it to a new person object. So this new keyword or the new operator is very important here. When we have a class, to create an object using that class or that blueprint, we need to use the new operator. Now we add parentheses and you can see our name parameter. So if you ignore the new keyword for a second, this expression looks like calling a function. And that's exactly our constructor method in the person class. So the parameters that we defined there, we can set them here. So I'm going to pass Mosh as an argument. Now we have a person object. You can see it has the name property and the walk method. With this person class, we have implemented the walk method in a single place. If tomorrow we find a bug in this method, there's a single place we need to modify. So this is the benefit of using classes. Next, we're going to look at inheritance.